Hey guys, it's Babypowder, and I a while ago came out with a tutorial for multiboxing, and I thought, uh, why don't I go ahead and make a part two? I've been getting asked, a few times about, certain add-ons I use, other things as far as, like the scripts I use for window sizes, things like that. So I figured, I'd make a part two and kind of go over more in detail, like the EMA add-on and things like that. So that's what we're going to do right here. I made a fresh group for you guys. Just go ahead and show you a couple things as far as, just starting out, how to get EMA set up and everything else. So stay tuned and see how it's done. All right, guys. So here we are. Just start these characters. As you can see, they are all level 1. And as far as first thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and load HotKey up. Now I'm not going to go over, the basics as far as, getting your first basic script and loading that in and all that stuff. I mean, you can look up at the top of the screen. You can go check out the first part of the tutorial where I go over all that and how to get HotKey and everything else. This is more of, going past that point as far as, how to use. It's going to be more focused on how to use like the EMA add-on and stuff like that, and how to get that started with your group, so you can go ahead and get out there and start multi-boxing. So we got our 5 tunes here, and this is our main tune here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to load HotKey up. All right, just by starting the program here. I've already got my script in there. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and change the names of our windows like I showed you in the first tutorial. And now we need to add, you see they all still jump and everything like that, but they need to be in a group. And, we need to set the macros, we need to, do all that. So first off, what we're going to do to get everybody in a group is we're going to go ahead and start with macros. So first off, we want to make I'm just going to make a macro to invite everybody in the party. So we're going to say, Druid group, because they're druids. We'll start off doing that. And then we're going to just add everybody's name in there. So I did all these on the same realm, kind of like I did with my alliance group, so it's going to make it a lot easier. Of course, if you do it with tunes from a different realm, you have to add the realm name in there, but we're just going to / invite and do the first tune's name, which I just named Potato 1, and then hit enter / invite Potato 2, and I just did Potato 1, 2, and 3, and 4, so it makes it just easy for me right there. And just finish this up here. And we can add a little icon, whatever. We'll use the Emerald Whelpling. Save it, and we'll put it down here. And that way, each time when we need to start off with these tunes, we can just go ahead and invite the whole group. So we'll hit the macro there. We will, for this time, the first time, you will have to go to all the different, potatoes and accept manually. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to skip the macro part for a second here and go ahead and get started with EMA. See, everybody's in the group, and we're going to type /EMA. And I think they changed it. You have to actually type in console now or something. What is it? What does the command say here? EMA config. That's what it is. And there you go. Your screen pops up. So this is EMA. This is the multi-box add-on that basically does everything, for you as far as accepting quests, make sure your group automatically accepts the group request, the group invite and all that stuff. So first off, the very first part we're going to go to is the team part. As you see, my main tunes are already in there, but the rest of my tunes are not. but we're already in a group. So we're just gonna click this little thing right here that says add all party or / raid members to team list. Bam, everybody's in there. Then we're going to, if you want somebody else to be the main, in this group, you could just, highlight their name up on here and then say select team member to party leader or whatever. And then you got these options down here to promote master to party leader. I don't necessarily use that sometimes because sometimes I will actually bring in a tune from another realm that's like low pop or something, so I can transfer to that realm. So I usually don't click that, but you can click that if you like. Also, I sets click to move on minions. I do use that sometimes when you're actually using melee characters, because you need to in order to make sure that they actually charge in and attack the enemies or whatever. But for range, which these are druids, we don't need it. And party imitations control. So this will make sure that you just automatically ignore if somebody asks for an invite or whatever, or tries to invite one of your potatoes to a group. But all you don't even really need to decline from strangers. Just, only have accept from team. So you only automatically accept from team. And you also have auto convert to raid, whatever. I don't use the rest of these. I just leave whatever's up there default. I just leave that on. Then from there, don't need any of this because we don't use IS Boxer. I don't bother with the group list. So we're gonna go ahead and go to tune. And for tune, I do, keep auto deny duels checked. I'm not trying to duel anybody. Deny guild invites. Now for right now, I'm gonna probably leave that unchecked because if I do come back to this group and decide to level them up and decide to use them as another farming group, which I do possibly plan to do now, I will keep that unchecked until I actually make a guild to put them in or whatever. So for right now, I'll leave it unchecked, but it is nice to go ahead and, check if you don't want to be bothered by people spamming you, because they will spam you trying to invite you to a group or to a guild. Auto accept resurrect requests, so you automatically, resurrect together. Keep that checked. Display team release prompts, yes. And only accept from EMA team members. That's up to you. It is nice to have that one checked, so you don't get res and you're off with another character doing something and you don't realize they're up. Auto accept summon requests, yes, please. Toggle war mode, yes. Auto accept roll checks. Auto accept ready checks with team. Instance teleport with team. And roll loot with team. So yeah, I pretty much use all those except for sometimes auto deny guild invites. Then for follow, okay. Now a lot of people would say yes, auto follow after combat. I don't do that because I use my tunes for farming. So my tunes need to stay in their spots when they're farming and stuff sometimes, because I have them spread out. If you do that, as soon as they kill something, they're going to come and follow your their focus character and everything. So I'll leave that unchecked. Now, warn if stop following, I do use that so I know if I lose follow, because a lot of times when you're flying or you get zoned out because of all the little shards they've made or whatever with the way they have everything set up now. It does cause you to lose focus when that happens. Then warn of PvP combat, leave that checked too, because if you accidentally enter a PvP zone or one of your potatoes just steps into one, it does automatically make you stop following, which I think is stupid, but hey, it's just very annoying. But anyway, that's all I mess with that. Other than that, I don't mess with anything else there, because I use macros to make sure that my tunes follow and everything. So I don't really feel like I even need that option. I don't mess with this. I just leave the defaults. It lets me know if somebody whispers my one of my potatoes, I can get back to them on my main if I need to. Warnings, warn if health drops below a certain amount. I just leave it that what's already there, the default amount. Mana, don't even need to worry about it. Just still leave it up there though. I don't mess with any of this stuff. This even tells you when the bags are full, so that one's nice. So if that one wasn't checked, I would definitely make sure that one was checked, especially when you're farming, so you don't make sure that that way most times when you're multi-box farming, you're just on your main tune and you're just spamming that button for the looter ring, and you don't want their bags to be full and realize at the end of the farm they weren't getting any more loot. So then we have display here, show team frame, which is this right here. I use it when leveling. It's just nice to see, make sure that everybody's kind of staying near the same amount. It seems like most times they still do get off in the percentages somehow. I don't know how it happens. They all, when I've been leveling in the past, I mean, they've all had the heirloom gear and all the same amounts of heirloom gear and everything else, and done the same stuff. And somehow, some of them will still, the percentages will not be even for whatever reason. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, but it happens. But I do kind of just have like a little, reminder of how close everybody is to leveling or whatever. I still keep that up on my main tune. Don't really bother with it too much on the other tunes. You can just click only on master, and so that way your master tune would only have it. Or just click it off on your other tunes EMAs. Either way, it should work the same. I don't mess with any of the rest of the stuff. Then expand it here. Item use, that's this little bar right here. I do use that because especially if you're questing. If you're not questing, then I wouldn't really worry about it, but if you're questing, it's nice to have, because when you get those little quest items or whatever on the side, it actually just puts them in this little bar for you here, so you can just have ease of access to to use them. But with this group, I'm probably gonna try to either I'm thinking I'm probably gonna try to just level them through grinding. So I'm probably not gonna use that. So I'm just gonna take that away. As you see, it disappears. I usually make it pretty transparent though, because I also usually have a chat box over here. So I go ahead and make it transparent so I can see who's writing me or whatever. Then you have currency. I don't touch that. I don't bother with that. I take care of my own currency stuff manually. I don't care to mess with that. Quest. Now this is the important part, especially if you're leveling or whatever with your group. You want to make sure that you take care of this part, which is I usually accept quests with team, so what's already on there. But then I also click this one, only auto accept quests from team, party, and NPC. That way it's not just random people sharing quests with me and then everybody has different quests and they're all off or whatever. And then also make sure I check master auto shares quests when accepted. So that way you automatically share that quest with your team. Then I just leave everything else the same, whatever. Then expand the quest part out. Completion, so completing the quest, which still with completing the quest, you gotta keep in mind your potatoes are not going to just automatically complete because your main completed the quest. They will also still need to speak to the NPC or the quest giver or whatever in order to complete the quest. But once you target, I'll show you, there's a macro you can make that you can target the same NPC as your main, and then when they'll speak to them at the same time, and then they will complete the quest once you hit accept with your main after hitting that macro. So anyway, the options we want to select from this is tune completes quest with team, which is already selected. Tune completes quest with team. But we want to change this. We want to change this to tune chooses the same reward as team. Unless, of course, you are actually multi-boxing with different, classes possibly, then you might want to choose the different option, which everybody chooses their own reward. This just makes it a lot smoother because basically, most times if you're questing or whatever, and, unless they just got a rare, drop or whatever off a mob and you decide to put it on your potato, they're not going to have, they're going to have pretty much around the same gear as your, main's going to have. So you'll just choose that same reward because it's going to be, the same upgrade or whatever. And then let's see here. Tracker. Tracker is optional. I mean, I go back and forth sometimes because most times I just prefer the Blizzard quest tracker. That's all it is. I mean, the EMA one just looks kind of old-fashioned to me. I just don't like it. So I'll actually click this where it says hide Blizzard's objective tracker most times. So it will, because it's already checked automatically, so it will load up Blizzard's one, and I will click the enable objective tracker so it gets rid of EMAs. But it's up to you. EMA, it's nicer as far as letting you know how far your other tunes are when it comes to the quest, but also just by mousing over the mobs, whatever it usually tells you, I think. So it's just your preference is basically what you prefer, as far as if you just prefer like that listed yellow golden color objective tracker compared to Blizzard's objective tracker. But that's completely up to you. Interaction, pretty much, yeah, you want to select everything here. It's already got team takes taxi and request taxi stop with team. You definitely want to have that one, which again, still with that, you need to make sure that your potatoes still, speak to the flight master before they actually, you take the flight path, or they're not going to take it with you. Mount with team, dismount with team, only dismount with master. Now I choose this because if you're farming, I think I explained it in the other video, but if you're out farming somewhere and you're setting up all your potatoes in their spots, and so basically all of your potatoes are following your master when you get to the zone. So you're not going to take and usually put your master tune in their spot first. You're going to usually take, or at least that's what I do, I take the potatoes and set them up first, and then finally take my master to their spot so that everybody's already dropped follow. But of course, when you take the first potato to their spot, you're going to go out of flight form, and you don't want for them to cause everybody else to go out of flight form. If you're like up in the air with your whole team, they drop down, everybody dies, and then it's just a hassle to go res them all up and then go over and try to put everybody in their spot. So I do select only dismount with master, so that doesn't happen. Enable auto loot. I don't really notice a difference whether I use theirs or not, because it doesn't seem like it actually, I don't know. I still select it though. Tell team BOE rare, BOE epic. Tell team mount. I mean, it's just gonna, I guess, tell you what you got. If you get a rare or epic or whatever. But we got loot appraiser for that, so I don't bother with those either. But it's your preference. If you want to use it, use it. I don't bother with trade, I don't bother with guild, and I don't bother with mail. Now, I mean, with mail, I just mail the stuff over manually. It doesn't bother me, but you can use it if you like. I don't bother with it. Trading, I don't bother with it either, because I don't usually trade between my tunes. I just mail the stuff over. Vendor, I have scrap for that, so I don't bother with that either. So that's really all I use, is just interaction. I use quest, and I use the tune options here, and some I usually take away the display stuff, actually, it seems like, so except for maybe this one I'm leveling, and just on my main tune. But that's pretty much it. And then the only problem is you can't just do it on your main tune. You gotta remember, you have to go to your potatoes. You guys set up the EMA over there as well. So like, we'll go to our, it's not going to work, if I only have it set up on my main tune, because they're different clients and everything else. So you have to make sure that you actually come over to each one of these. I know, and it takes seems like it takes a while. and everything to get it set up on, you know, 5 different characters, and you just want to get out here and farm. But once you do it, it's done. You don't have to mess with it again. So it'll be simple as just, you know, hitting that macro one time, inviting your whole group, and then you're ready to go. But I believe I typed it in there right that time. There we go. And then same thing here, like, you know, okay, so see, they don't have anybody in the team. We'll just hit, you know, accept team members. Everybody's in there. But we're gonna change it because we want our main tune to be which is Baby Guides. We want them to be the master, so we'll go ahead and promote them. And then we'll just go back through the list here, you know, going through and doing everything here. So auto deny duels, all that stuff, we just, you know, and once you get it down and get used to what you want, I mean, you'll be able to really, you know, once you do your first couple of groups, you'll just be able to steam through this and do it really, really fast usually. I mean, I've done it so many times. I mean, I was a little slower because I'm trying to explain it to you guys, but most times I can just run through this and it's like nothing. So, and of course, you know, with my potatoes, like I said, I just take this stuff off for them. I don't bother with it with them. But yeah, and that's it, you know, and I still even select master share, auto share quests with teams of the potatoes. It doesn't matter, but I do, just to make sure that they do. Who knows, maybe if I decide to switch up who the main's going to be, maybe I'll make sure that's already still selected there. But it doesn't really matter whether you have that selected or not. But yeah, that's it, guys. I mean, and you know, I changed my tracker too. So, and there you go. And that's all you gotta do. And then you'll have to do the same exact thing. I mean, as you see, that took me like no time to do it with the potato. You know, I'm already done. Oh, I gotta do interaction actually. Oh, nope, not done. But once I do this, and let's just select everything except for the tell stuff there. But after that, you're all done. And then you just go back through and do it with all the different potatoes to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do. Let's go ahead and go back into the macros. So we'll pull up our macro again here. So we got the invite group one. Then we want to create what's the next one? Or actually, we don't even need to worry about with our main. We just need to worry about the potato. So we'll go back to the potato here actually. And macro one for focus. So we'll name it focus. Use this bear here. All right, and it's just going to be slash focus, and then our main's name, which is Baby Guides. Okay, and then you want to set that macro up on all of your potatoes. Okay, and then you can just put it down here somewhere, doesn't matter where. And then you want to have one for follow. I think I have one on all my tunes just in general. Don't need to make a new one. Yeah, right here. Just slash follow focus. So we can just pull that one down here. Then we're gonna need another one for our spell right here. And for each spell once we get them. So we want to a solar raft. I just usually go by the initials SW, and then we'll do slash assist focus, and then slash cast solar raft. But you can type it like I have, or you can actually go into the spell book, and then once you find it in the spell book, you can just, you know, instead of having it typed in like that, once you type in cast, you can just shift click and it'll go in there. And then you just save it and then replace the one on your bar. All right, and so guys, for this one, we want to go ahead and I forgot, I already had it set up here. It's just this one, I have it labeled as interact, and it's just slash assist focus slash interact. You want to go ahead and have that down your bar, and that's going to allow you to speak to the NPC that your focus has targeted. Now, it's not going to work quite yet, and I'm going to show you why. So let me go ahead and speak to this guy right here, this NPC. Okay, I'm gonna accept the quest. Let me speak to him again. So you see the dialogues up here. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell. I don't have the keybind set up yet, so you need to set up your keybinds to whichever ones you want to use. But this way I can actually show you from the standpoint of what the, okay, so, what the potato is actually doing when I'm hitting the keybind. So I just hit the focus, so I'm focusing Babypowder's guides, also focusing him. So I'll follow, and then let me actually just get right up on him. Follow, and then interact. See, it doesn't do anything. He's targeted him, but he doesn't actually speak to him. So what you need to do here is you need to go into your actual key bindings with Warcraft, and you need to go to, okay, so it's underneath targeting here, where it says interact with target. So you need to have that bound to a key, which I selected E, and usually mine is Q and E. So I just hit Q and then E, and then they'll do it. So you'll see here, I'll hit E. Okay, well, he stopped. There we go. And then I'll hit E, and he'll target the guy as well. There you go. And that's also if, for whatever reason, you're not using engineering and looter rings with your characters, which of course I'm not going to be able to do right off the bat. That's another way that you can get your potatoes to loot without using looter rings. You can actually use that, same macro, and then the key binding. So it's two buttons you have to push. You have to use the key binding for that macro to assist the focus and interact, and then use the actual interact key binding with Blizzard's interact. So I know it's why doesn't the macro just do it all for you, but it doesn't. So anyway, yeah, I use those. I use the macro, and then I use the loot button, and it will actually target and speak to the mob, and that way you can make sure that your potatoes are speaking to them without having to switch to each screen and clicking the NPC to make sure they take the flight pass and everything else like that. And like I said, you can use it to loot too if you decide not to use looter rings for whatever reason. But if you're farming with them, you should definitely, and even during leveling, you should be using looter rings, so you don't have to bother with that, because it can sometimes mess up, and they'll for some reason target a mob that your main's not targeting or whatever, I guess because of the delay between the keys strokes sometimes, and then next thing you know, you'll see a potato running off to some weird direction or whatever. You have to try to catch them and get them to follow your main again, so you stop them. But anyway, that's how you do that. All right, guys, so next thing, let's go ahead and go over the way I do the window setup with the window scripts. In case you're curious about those, if you want to use my fishing one or use the same one you see I have up when I'm doing a farm sometimes. Which, if it's a small area, most times I just leave the big screen and don't even worry about seeing the other screens up. Especially if I am planning on possibly moving with a potato somewhere to loot, because that little screen is kind of difficult sometimes to do that. I really just, use the little screens on the side when I'm doing a big farm where they're really spread out and I'm only going to be going around looting with my main. If I just want to make sure that they're constantly killing mobs and, something's not off in that regards or whatever. Because it does actually take a second for the screens to change if you want to toggle between them or whatever. So I don't really bother with that much as far as switching the screens from big screens to little screens and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and pull up our HotKey program here and go ahead and go over some of the different, window scripts here. So as you see, I have multiple different scripts, and I would suggest, make sure that you have, multiple different notepads already set up so you don't constantly have to change stuff all the time. You can just load whichever one in at the time, as far as, you know, right here you see I have for just 2 accounts. If I only want to use 3 accounts, possibly if you want to do something like Island Expeditions, 4 accounts, 5 accounts, you know, so on. I have my 5-man fishing group just because of the Windows setup being different. I have 5 PIP, which is, you know, that's my farming group basically. And then these other ones, I don't really use those. I think those were something I started out with at the very beginning, but kind of it's basically just these 2 that I usually use most times: the 5 PIP and the 5-man fishing. And like I said, I might use 3 accounts if I go and do some Island Expeditions or something at some point. But we'll go ahead and load up the 5-man PIP. Open that up, and we'll go ahead and click Edit Script just so you can see it. It's just your same stuff you'll see from the very first tutorial. This is how you get started with it. I'm not going to go into all that. I'm just going to go into the resize and window part. As you see, you just put it right below your first part where you rename your windows. Which, you know, I have all this right here. You don't even need, actually I could probably erase this part here. You don't even need this hotkey Control F2. That part you don't need. You just need these: the Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift 3, Shift 4, and Shift 5. Okay, that basically only thing this does is, if you look at it here, is the Shift 1 right here. It just makes sure that your, you know, main tunes, or well, WoW 1 is, you know, the big screen, and then your other screens are the little screens on the side. And then if you go to Shift 2, it will pull up your WoW 2 to be the big screen, and then your other screens to be the small ones. And that will allow you to toggle by just hitting Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift 3, Shift 4, Shift 5 between the screens and making different ones big and other ones little, if you decide you want to do that. But like I said, it takes a while, which I'll show you here right now how long this takes for it to switch between windows. So we'll hit our Shift, or did I actually load it in there? I did load it in, didn't I? Make sure it's loaded. Okay, should be loaded now. So we'll hit Shift 1. Well, that time it was actually pretty instant. I've never seen it actually go that fast before. Maybe it's because we're only in a starting area. But sometimes, I guess if you're in a busier area or somewhere else, it'll actually take a little while to load. It was pretty instant there. I was kind of shocked. Let's try to switch to another one. Okay. Well, never mind. It was actually, maybe I have a different add-on loaded up that's causing it to delay or something. I'll have to look into that myself, because it's actually pretty instant here. As you see here, it's going between the different screens pretty fast here. But that's all you have to do is hit, you know, all the different shifts, and it'll take you between all the different screens as far as making ones big and small. All right, so let's go ahead and load in our fishing one so you can kind of see that setup I use, which will go into load. We'll hit the 5-man fishing group, and we'll load that one up, and we'll take a look at it here. So basically with this one, again, I don't use the hotkey Control F2. I use Shift 1, which makes the, like, basically the 4 and the 1 in the middle. Shift 2, I think, just actually makes it look like this. And then Shift 3 actually makes everything big again. So you know, you can go back to the default thing, which actually I probably should add that into my 5-man PIP. But usually what I'll just do is, if I want to make all my screens big again from this, you know, right here, is I'll just load in my 5-man fishing group and just use Shift 3 just to make the screens big once again. So that's why, like I said, it's nice to just go ahead and have multiple scripts already, you know, saved and everything, so you can just easily load them in and out. So we'll go ahead and hit Shift 1 so you can see how that kind of works. Close this out so we'll make sure we don't change anything here. And there you go. And now you see my setup for when I'm, you know, multi-box fishing. You know, I got the small screen in the center, and got the 4, you know, somewhat bigger screens here all around. And I mean, you might prefer leveling like this, and you might want to use this screen for something else, you know. It's up to you. But I don't actually have it set up so they toggle between the middle screen and the other screens, but I only use this for fishing, so that's why I have it set up like that. And then we'll hit, like I said, I'll go ahead and hit Shift F2 since it seems to, in this area at least, be moving pretty fast. Yeah, like I said, I thought it was just the PIP setup. So yeah, it just does that for just the one for the main character. And then we'll hit Shift 3, and as you see, everything goes back to normal size. But it doesn't have the borders around it showing you what the actual Windows name is, because I actually cut those out. Which we'll go ahead and we'll look at the script once again, so I can kind of go into detail here. As you see here, it does say slash target when while one has 4 different sizes here, and then remove window frame, which that's what gets rid of that frame around the window. If you just take that out, if you still want your window frames, it'll still include those. But I prefer not having the window frame, so I take that out. And then, you know, if you want different sizes than what I have, you can just start adjusting these numbers and play with them until you get to, and that's all I did to get the kind of setup I wanted. Yeah, and that's all you do, guys. I'll go ahead and in the description, probably not in the description, I'll probably pin a comment at the very top of this video with these 2 different window size resize window scripts. I'm not gonna put the whole script in there. I don't believe. I'll just do the resize windows, because you can get the other script parts from the first tutorial. Like I said, it should still be up in the top corner of the screen. You can go select that and check that out if you really need to figure out how to actually get started with your script and hotkey first off. But anyway, guys, that's all I'm really going to go over in this video. I am, you know, I probably will come out with another one later on with you know, other stuff that you can do, but I feel like, you know, this was what was kind of, you know, been asked a lot of me, is, you know, the EMA add-on, and this video has kind of already gotten, you know, drawn out pretty long just going over that. I wasn't even really looking to get into the EMA add-on, because, you know, I didn't think there would be that much interest in it, because I figured, you know, for me, I thought maybe it was mostly self-explanatory, but you know, but yeah, I can see where it can get confusing, so just felt like I should just go over that for you guys. So that's what I wanted to do here, and that was the main focus, was going over EMA, and like I said, the resizing of the windows. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the part 2 of my tutorial video, where I showed you, you know, how to use EMA and how to resize your windows, as far as the way I do it. Like I said, you can adjust the window sizes if you like, but that kind of gives you the general idea to get you at a starting point, as far as if you want to resize your windows and things, and, you know, using getting started with EMA. Like I said, you can use more of the EMA options, or you can use less. It's completely up to you. That's just what I do. But anyway, guys, if you like this video, make sure you go ahead and hit that thumbs up down below, and also hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, so you make sure you don't miss another one of my amazing multi-box gold guides I have coming out very shortly. Also, if you have a farm you'd like for me to try to multi-box and post a video, go and leave that down there, and I'll check it out, see if it works. If it works, I'll post a video. But other than that, guys, that's all I have. This is Baby Powder. Peace. I'm out.